Members, what I'm asking is to remove the amendment that was added on to the floor, SB 14. The amendment was not discussed in committee, and a lot of questions have been raised. So with that, out of deference to the body, I'd like to remove the amendment.
Senator Menendez, what purpose?
Questions of the author?
Do you yield?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sarah Campbell, you and I had discussed the amendment when you asked me a few questions in the Senate lounge the day before. Did we not talk about the amendment a little bit? And in committee, we heard doctors or a doctor discuss the process by which some of these puberty blockers and other hormones, how they work. And when you and I discussed the amendment, we talked about considering the safety and the well-being of children who are already in the process. I'm dismayed. I'm quite frankly surprised. I know I don't understand how you want to take children who are currently under the care of a doctor, and when the bill passes, they're no longer allowed to have that care. Is that what you're saying? That once this bill becomes effective, now if you're taking the amendment off, does this mean the effective date is December 1st again?
I have an amendment to leave. That's a technical change. I have an amendment to leave the date at September 1, become effective September 1.
But the date on your bill is December 1st.
Yes, but the amendment had two different points. One was a technical cleanup, if you will, to move the effective date from December 1 up to September 1. And I've got another amendment to leave that effective date September 1.
So at this time, what you want to do is strip off the amendment where you had considered the children and the families and the parents who had made the decisions long ago, who are currently in the process, and you've decided that not only do you want their care to be illegal as of December 1st in your original bill, now you want it to be illegal September 1st. Is that correct?
It was already going to be September the 1st.
But I don't understand how. If you have an amendment, then why do you need the amendment?
Well, I mean, whenever I put on the amendment on 14, I'd added the technical cleanup that changed it from December 1 to September 1. So when I take this off, there will not be that date change, and I will offer an amendment to restore the date to September 1.
What is the reason to track the amendment that you had first adopted and everybody agreed to without objection? Nobody objected to you at the amendment that you and I discussed. What is the policy decision to remove the amendment today?
The actual amendment that I put on 14, or are you talking about the date from December?
The amendment that would allow the children who are currently under the care of a doctor to continue to finish their care.
The amendment was not discussed in committee, and there were so many questions that have been brought up since the amendment was put on that, out of respect for the body, I'm going to just take it down. Ask that it be taken down.
But no one objected to your amendment when we adopted the amendment. So what do you mean by respect?
You didn't vote for the amendment.
No, there was no objection. The president said, is there objection? Without objection, amendment's adopted. So no one objected to the amendment. So I don't understand where we're lacking respect for the body.
I know there have been so many questions that have come up. There was no discussion regarding the amendment I was going to put on in committee. And truly, out of respect for everyone, I am going to ask for that it just be removed. I want to withdraw it. Remove it.
Okay. So thank you for answering my questions. Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Menendez, what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. President. At what point would it be appropriate to speak against the motion to reconsider the amendment, the removal of the amendment?
Right now, we're on reconsideration to passage to engrossment, and I have another senator who wants to speak.
Okay. So I'm just wondering
When she offers the amendment?
when she offers the amendment. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Senator. Senator Johnson, what purpose?
To speak, I guess to ask the author and other members of the chamber a question regarding the motion to reconsider and to remove the amendment.
Do you yield, Senator Campbell?
Absolutely.
Senator Campbell, as I understand the exchange with you and Senator Menendez, your concern is that I guess the members of the body did not have sufficient opportunity to consider the amendment prior to the time that it was offered. And therefore, the vote by the body accepting the amendment might not have been consistent with the views they now hold. Is that correct?
I think absolutely that the body did not have opportunity to hear any discussion in committee or any discussion by me prior to offering the amendment. So it was a surprise amendment to the body, and out of respect for them, I'm just going to withdraw it.
Thank you, Senator Campbell. The issue itself was not a surprise, was it? The question of whether or not children should be able to continue the care they're currently undergoing is a topic that has been discussed in conjunction with your bill, is it not?
Your question again?
My question is whether people were surprised by the whole idea of having an amendment that would allow children who are undergoing care currently to continue their care.
Well, there was quite a bit of concern in the communities about that. And there was so much, I think, confusion about it that it wasn't clear enough. And because there is no science, it creates confusion as to what should be done. And the best thing, truly, I think, for the bill is to withdraw the amendment that I put on.
Thank you. And I do appreciate the idea, and we may see it again this session, where we might need to reconsider an amendment due to insufficient time to consider. Since that's the feeling, apparently, of the body, perhaps the senators who are concerned about that amendment would now choose to engage in a debate on the topic, particularly with advocates like Senator Menendez, who have invested a great deal of time in the prior debate. So if we're going to have a meaningful conversation and vote on this amendment, perhaps those of you who think we should take it off should now voice your concerns. And we can have a debate.
Well, and while that is an offer to the body, I can say that there were so many questions out there that many people were having to discuss or concerned or confused about. And it would have been nice for me to bring it up in the committee that this is why I want to withdraw the amendment.
I appreciate and respect your concerns, and I just wonder if anybody else would like to take this opportunity to voice their concerns with the amendment that would, if it were to stay, allow children who are currently undergoing a regime of medical treatment to continue that regime of medical treatment, if that's the correct thing in the estimation of the professionals who serve them.
Thank you,
Mr.
Senator.
President.
Members, the vote is on the motion to reconsider. The Secretary will call the roll.
That's a vote.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Bardwell, Blanco.
19 ayes and 11 nays. The motion is adopted to reconsider. So members, this puts us back on second reading, okay, before engrossment. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 14, relating to prohibition on the provision to certain children of procedures and treatments for gender transitioning, gender reassignment, or gender dysphoria.
Chair recognizes Senator Hughes for a motion to suspend rules.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I move to suspend Senate Rule 610A. Again, the reconsideration rule, this time to permit a motion to reconsider the adoption of floor amendment number 1.
Secretary will call the roll on the motion.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Birdwell, Blanco.
19 ayes, 11 nays. The motion is adopted. Chair now recognizes Senator Campbell for a motion to reconsider the vote by which the floor amendment was adopted.
Mr. President, I move to reconsider the vote by which the floor amendment number 1 was adopted.
Senator Menendez, did you want to speak on the motion to rescind it or on the motion to reconsider the amendment? Is this when you wanted to speak?
Yes, please.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I've got many messages coming into my phone from doctors, and there are over 80 scientific citations supporting how healthcare is supposed to be done. And there's extensive data showing that hormone therapy withdrawal symptoms can be and are very real, difficult to cope with, including high blood pressure, malaise. I'm not sure, after the hearing where Senator Campbell and I sat through, why we would want to pull the rug out from under people. We had an amendment where all the Democrats signed and voted to make it against the law for any surgical treatments on children. What we're asking is that children who are currently under the care with this hormone replacement therapy, that they be allowed to finish and they not have the rug pulled out from underneath them. I'm concerned that under the guise of protecting children, that we're actually going to hurt many children and their families. Possibly, some who can will leave the state, and maybe that's the overarching goal. Jared Campbell, I know, and we've talked about this. You're a doctor. You know, we discussed last week that when doctors put you on steroids, they taper you up and they taper you down because those hormones affect your body. I'm not sure, and I hope that if this bill gets out of this building, out of this chamber, without this, that hopefully science and medicine can prevail and protect those children who are currently under the care, so that their safety and well-being will not be affected by this. Many times in this building we discuss not going backwards and retroactively affecting people, and this is one of those cases where it's not a red light camera, it's not a legal issue, it's not a business, it's not a contract, it's someone's life. And so it is for that reason that I ask members to think about it and to really think about the fact that grandfathering those children whose parents and their medical professionals have already been on this established journey with a created plan for their families, that they be allowed to see the end of their plan. Even if we say no surgical, that's fine. Not a problem. But the fact that you want to just drop the hammer on them in terms of their hormone therapy, I think it's I think it's medically unwise, and I think it's just not a thoughtful or a kind thing to do, and I'm very concerned. And so it's for that reason that I stand up to speak against the motion to reconsider. I've appreciated the conversations that you and I have had about these children, and that you wanted not to have anybody be hurt, because I do believe you when you say you don't want anyone hurt. You don't want anyone hurt in the process but these are kids who are already in the process, and I thought we had at least found common ground on that. So thank you for your time, and thank you.
Thank you.
Move against reconsideration.
Thank you, Senator. Vote is on reconsideration. Secretary will call the roll.